Let's make it public. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Let's make it public. Let's make it public. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Let me make it public. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. How's everybody doing? Let me make it public. Let me make it public. Let's get into the there it is. Let's try to make it public for everyone. Edit privacy. It's public now. Everyone can see it. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardoui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardoui. If you're from Dominica, Mr. Badouil. And if you're from what? La Pointe, you say Point Michel, Luku boy, little boy, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. Whitey Kubuli, tall is her body. How are you beautiful people doing tonight? Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. You know, sometimes I usually play some music. You know, my special guest tonight, I'm going to have to switch up some music. I'm not going to be playing no rockabilly kind of music tonight. I want to play something nice for her. But before we do that, how are you guys doing? Tell everybody, come into the room. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Tuesdays with Terrence. I'm trying to find a good song. What you all know about this? One of my favorite people who listen to Tuesdays with Terrence loves this song, and I want to play a little of it. This person loved these guys, the Gators. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. No bacchanal tonight. How you doing, folks? Have you climbed a mountain before?
I faced a mountain.
Have you?
That I've never faced before.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
That's why I'm calling on you, Lord.
Call on him. Yes.
I know it's been a while. Lord, please hear my prayer. I need you like I never have before.
Sometimes it takes a mountain. Yes, Lord.
Sometimes it takes a mountain.
Yes, it does. It takes a mountain sometimes. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardoui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. And some people call me Mr. Bardoui. If you're from Point Michel, La Pointe, in the Commonwealth of Dominica, Whitey Kubuli, tall is her body, you might say Luku boy or little boy. Monsieur La Pointe, I'm a Dominican, a Point Michel boy. And tonight I got a very special guest, a Point Michel girl. I hear this sweet in the ways, but I don't know her. I don't know. But welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. I'm so glad that you've chosen to be here tonight. You know, my special guest is someone who sings my theme song. For the last 3 years, I've been playing this theme song. February 4th will be 4 years I've been doing Tuesdays with Terrence, man. And, you know, this young person here has very special to me, and you get to know that in a little bit, has been singing my theme song. But just before we go there, though, we just went through September, which was Life Insurance Awareness Month. I had some special guests on there who killed it. I mean, we had Tony Brown, we had Scott Forbes, we had Neil Perkins. They tore it up. Toya Jackson, they tore it up. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is a very, very important month. September was, but now it's October. and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you're a man or a woman and you got tatas, you need to be here tonight. So just before we start the show, though, what I'll do is let's look at markets, because this is a financial show, and let's see what the markets did. For those of you who got stocks, bonds, mutual funds, let me just take a quick look and see what happens. Man, the Dow Jones was down 430.97. The S&P was down 248.31, and guess what? The S&P was down. Let me tell you, the Great Depression in the 1920s, it happened in October. In 1987, was it? Yeah, the stock market crash. It was in October. It seems like October is always a month where we have all these funny things. But guess what? My clients sleep like this and like that. You know why? Because zero is the hero. They do not participate in the market, but they participate in the gains of the market. So tonight, as I play my theme song, all right, let me find it for you. I'm going to bring on my guests. I'm not going to do too many preliminaries tonight because we want to give most of the time to my guests. My guest was basically diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer in 2020, had a lumpectomy, however, I can't even say that, and a bilateral mastectomy, and also had chemotherapy. So tonight, folks, without any further ado, I want to introduce to you the person who sings the theme song to You Don't Have to Be a Star to Be on My Show. I'm going to play my theme song, and then I'm going to bring them in. All right? So you need to get somebody and tell them they need to be on the show tonight. They need to be on Tuesdays with Terrence tonight because we are going to celebrate. We are going to celebrate life. We're going to talk about some things that you guys may or may not know about. And tonight is the night we're going to do it. So make sure you're doing it. So right now, this is what I'm going to do. Let me unmute this person and bring them on screen. And I'm going to play theme song. This is the lady that sings my theme song every Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. Mrs. Maynard Thomas, a Point Michelle girl, Jean Pointe. Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Come, family. Look at her. She's beautiful.
Family, come as you are with just your heart. And now
she's the one singing it. Yes. Woo!
Are you rejected or hurt? To me, your worth much more than you put in.
I don't need no superstars, but I got one tonight.
I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be rich family to be on my show. You don't have to have a million family to be on my show.
Boom! That's the lady who sings the song, man. You guys been listening to it over and over and over and over again. Let me unmute her. Maynard Thomas, how you doing, young lady? How you doing tonight?
Hey, everybody. Hey, my brother. I am doing just fine. I am wonderful. I am blessed and highly favored of God. How are you?
I am doing well. Let's just see who's watching so far. You got Miss Elizabeth Bardui. That's Beulah, your cousin in New York, Brooklyn, saying hello. Maria, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Maria, me. Happy birthday to you. That's from my agency, American Classic Agency. Maria is watching tonight in Jacksonville, Florida. Happy birthday. And Robin Martin in the Queen City. She works with your big sister, Miss Betsy Davis. Peach Goodwill in Petersburg, Virginia. How you doing? Say hello to Miss Maynard Thomas. Josette Whittington in Georgia. How you doing? Good to see you tonight. Man, Rosanna Massicott, wow, you in pink tonight. That's right. I'm representing Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I ain't got no shirt. I got rid of the beard. I'm trying to look young and sexy because my sister is beautiful. The gray, I took it out. I'll grow it back next week. Tina Dixon, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Wink. Who else is on the show tonight? Arvin Vasa, Petersburg, Virginia, and everybody else who's watching tonight. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest is Miss Maynard Thomas. Well, her name is Maynard Thomas, but to me it's Tameen. She's my little sister. Those of you who are watching in different parts of the country and different countries in Canada and in Europe and in the Caribbean, I know in Dominica there's flooding, so a lot of people may not be watching tonight because they're watching to see if they have light with dumb light. All you need to get a bullseye, and all you should have charged your phone last night or tonight and get a bullseye to watch the show. You know, a bullseye. Maynard, you know what a bullseye is? You're American. You know what bullseye is? But anyways, Maynard Thomas, how you doing tonight, young lady? How you doing, girl?
I am great. Like I said, I am doing well. I'm glad to be on your show. Thanks for inviting me back again. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I am ready to go.
I am glad that you decided to come on. I'm so happy that you're on tonight. First of all, I want to tell you guys, nepotism, yes. My baby sister, yes. I love her, yes. And for you Dominicans who's watching, she's my Met Gel. For Americans, that means she's my boss. You know, she bosses me around like she's older than me. I'm older than her. She's my baby sister, but I love her daily, man. So, Maynard, you are, you're coming to us from, I told them, the people you from the ATL area, you're in Georgia. I'm going to give you a solo screen. I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes to tell us a little bit about you, what you do. Do you go to church? What you do? Do you have a family? Are you married? Are you single? You have a boyfriend? Do you have kids? And just tell the people a little bit about you. You got about 3 minutes solo. There you go, baby.
Yes, I have a boyfriend. He's my husband. His name is Warren Thomas. So yes, I am married. I've been married for 28 years to a wonderful man, Warren Thomas. We have 3 beautiful daughters. One is in medical school, one is in grad school, and one just graduated college. My husband is an entertainer. He travels the world. He is, I think he's either in Hong Kong.
To Hungary. He was in
Hungary. He's in Hungary. He's in Hungary right now. I used to, before I would never tell people where he was because I didn't want people to know, but
you put it on Facebook. That's how I know.
Right. Exactly. So everybody knows where he is, except for me sometimes because he travels so much. But I live in Georgia. I live in Snellville, Georgia. Snellville, where everybody is somebody. And I attend church, West End Seventh-day Adventist Church. Have a wonderful church family. I was blessed. My husband, I was able to retire in 2009 to raise our children. And I do have a mentoring business. It's called Girls Matter International, where I mentor girls here in the United States and internationally in Trinidad and Tobago, Honduras. girlsmatterinternational.com. You could check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. And I'm finishing up my master's in pastoral Christian counseling. I will be done in December. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I do here.
Wow. And I believe you're an elder at your church as well, right?
Yes, I am an elder at my church as well. Yes. Okay. And I serve on several other ministries at my church. I'm also the young adults ministries leader because I love young people, and I'm on family ministries and marriage ministries at church.
Oh, that's awesome. I used to be the young people ministry leader at my church. But that was a few years ago. That was back in 2017, 18, 19, around that time. So, man, so that's awesome, Maynard. I'm so excited that you're here tonight. Let me tell you guys something. Oh, I want to give a shout out to somebody who's watching all the way in Dominica. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to call them O. They're watching tonight. I want to give them a special shout out. They're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. I think this must be your first time watching, and there's a lot of other people watching as well. Some of you, if you put something in the chat, I will be able to give you a shout out. If you don't put something in the chat, I may not be able to see it, and I don't know you're there. So I just want to welcome everyone who's watching tonight. I don't take it for granted. This is a very special show tonight because we're talking about breast cancer, and we have a living breast cancer survivor. I tease her sometime. You know, I always say the Tatas, hers was removed and stuff, you know. I can do that. That's my baby sister, okay? But she'll tell you a little bit more about that because we have a very, very good relationship. And I think sometimes a breast is just a body part, like an elbow. So don't get your minds twisted here, folks. I want to make it very, very clear tonight, you know, my special guest, you know, has been a journey. You know what, Mena? In 2020 was a very trying year for us. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We have our eldest sister. I have 6 sisters. You're the baby sister and the baby child. And we also have an older sister. We have multiple older sisters, but our eldest sister is a breast cancer survivor as well, about 10, 11 years now. And she's out of New York. And those of you who are watching in Dominica, if you watch Q95, you know, you listen to Matt in the morning, you know, Matt Peltier, that's his mom. That's my nephew. You know, that's my eldest sister. She's a breast cancer survivor as well. So we're celebrating life. We're celebrating those who've overcome that dreaded disease. You know, but in 2020 was an epic year for us. Not epic in terms of, you know, my business grew exponentially. So thank God for that. I came up with Tuesdays with Terrence and I killed it. I earned my ring for my agency. I'm the Wall of Fame, you know, and so now I think I'm a big shot. I'm on the leadership board at my company. But the important thing is this: in 2020, we lost our dad in July. You know, Daddy Sonny. Those of you who watch me over the years, so I used to go, I can't sing a lick. Mina sings, and I'll play one of her songs, her singing a little bit. But you know what? The thing about it is, you know, we lost Daddy Sonny, and it was tragic for us. But we knew he was elderly. He was 91, and it was COVID, and we couldn't see him. And, you know, we understood that nobody wants to lose a loved one. But we gave him his flowers while he was alive. He took care of all of us. And there's one thing about my father. He took care of home. Some men didn't do that, but he took care of home. And I'll tell you this, I love him dearly, but he's gone. But later that year in October, Mena, I want you to tell the people, I'm going to give you a solo screen, give you about 3 to 5 minutes to give you a solo screen. And every now and then I'll come back on. Don't think I'm stopping you. To tell them what happened in 2020, when you went for, I don't know if it was your mammogram or something. So can you tell us what happened in 2020, my dear?
Sure. Well, of course, we know 2020, that was October. That was the height of COVID. Right? Yeah. So I had my mammogram done, I believe maybe in August. I can't even remember, but August or September, possibly September. But I got a call. My husband and I were volunteering at a food pantry. I got a call from the doctor's office, and they told me, you know, they found cancer cells on my breasts, and that I needed, then they gave me instructions as what I needed to do. It wasn't a very nice call. It wasn't a pleasant call. I felt that it should have been, you know, they should have asked me to come back in and sat me down in the office and have a conversation with me, right? While I was across the, you know, the desk from the doctor, but they did it over the phone. Thank God my husband was with me when I got the news. It was not good news. It was devastating. It was, you know, there was confusion. Really didn't know what to make out of it. But then, of course, I had to process with my husband and our daughters and family, and going to the breast surgeon, the oncologist, and just getting information, trying to wrap my head around what I had just been told, the information I had been given. So, yeah, the diagnosis was there. No prognosis, just, you know, breast cancer. And of course, a lot of times when women are diagnosed with breast cancer, you think automatically it's a death sentence, but it's not necessarily a death sentence. That's why I think that awareness is very, very important, because, you know, 1 in 8 women are going to be diagnosed with breast cancer this year alone. Close to almost 300,000 women were diagnosed with breast cancer in 2023. So early stages and prevention and following your doctor's directions are so very important. But my journey, was an interesting one, to say the least. Just getting to know the doctors and choosing the doctors and being heard by the doctors, which is something that's so very important, because there are so many disparities that exist, especially among Black and brown women, and of course, mostly in marginalized communities. So hearing that diagnosis, getting that diagnosis, and finding the right doctor for treatment and deciding, what treatment. Do you get a lumpectomy, which is just having the actual tumor removed? I was the cancerous tumor was found in my left breast, or having a mastectomy, one breast removed, or a bilateral mastectomy, both of your breasts removed, and whether, to have implants after you have the removal. So a lot of decisions, stuff is just coming in like a flood. It's very overwhelming. And of course, like I said, it was during the height of COVID, which meant, and I've said this before on this platform and many other platforms, the height of COVID, going into see doctors, no one can come with you. You're there by yourself, tears streaming down your face. Just what do you do? So being diagnosed with breast cancer in and of itself is something that's terrible. Being diagnosed with breast cancer at the height of COVID, that's a whole nother story. So, that's when my journey started in October of 2020, the height of COVID.
Wow. It's so, when I say funny, I don't mean hilarious, but peculiar. We lost our dad in July, and then we get the news of your diagnosis, and I'm scared and I'm crying because it's my little baby sister, and I think she's going to die, and she's like, you know what? I want to beat this thing. And she was real confident, and she was this and she was that. Yeah, she had to go. There were times you went through you have to go to chemo and a whole bunch of different things, and I'll give a shout out to everybody that's coming on in a minute. But you had to, it was a trying time for us. I remember it brought our family together in terms of unity. We had lost our dad. From since then, we've had a Friday night call. It's called a siblings call, where we get together on the phone and we chat and we talk. We fasted and prayed for you every Wednesday. My phone still reminds me to fast and pray for you on Wednesdays. Now my church is doing it, so it's a little different. And I'll tell you this, Maina, when it happened, I was like, man, I was scared, but you were so cool, calm, and collected. But just before I said, I want to give a special shout out to those who are tuning in. I want to say hello to Tina in Maryland, my new business partner, Ms. Dixon. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence, Esther Duran Casimir in St. Martin, and everybody else is tuning in. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest is Mrs. Maynard Thomas. She's here trying to tell us her story about being diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. I mean, she's going to tell you some stuff tonight, and you guys got to get the tatas checked. And I've said it before, you can't be doing breast walks and having bake sales and wearing pink, and then you're not doing your part. We'll talk about that a little later. But as we were saying, Maina, you were going through all that stuff. And I can only imagine, as I look at my phone, I can only imagine you had to go through all of that stuff. You had your family there. The great thing about it is COVID was there. So you had all your kids, and your hubby, because your husband travels all around the world. He's in Hungary, he's in Germany, he's in Japan, he's in France, all over the United States, he's in Asia, he's here, he's there, Mackay, and it's like crazy, all the countries. But he was there to support you. And how important was it for you to have family support before we get deeper into the conversation, my dear? How was that for you?
Well, of course, family is everything. So having my immediate family and my extended family, my siblings, my in-laws, that was very, very important. When you're diagnosed with something like that, it's having family, like I said, is everything. So the fact that it was during COVID, that's why I tell people that, I call my story, whenever I tell my story, whatever platform I have, I'm on, I always say, it's my cancer by design, because with God, I think that nothing happens by accident. Everything's by design. So it was designed that I was diagnosed with breast cancer during COVID, because you're absolutely right. My husband would have been overseas. He would have been, so far away. My children would have been in college, and I would have been home by myself, everybody having to kind of navigate around my illness and trying to maybe leave school, stop working, come home. So the fact that my family was there, not saying that other people who are diagnosed with breast cancer, that their families, because they're working, they're not able to be there. Of course, they, people just make accommodations. But the fact that they were there with me, even though there were times that they were not able to come into the room, but, they could drive me there. Like, matter of fact, when I had to go to my breast surgeon, the first meeting that I had with my breast surgeon, my middle daughter, Caitlin, shout out to Caitlin, Caitlin went with me. She was the one that went with me to that first appointment. And she was able to hear things that I wasn't able to hear, because if you are the one that's diagnosed with an illness, when the physician is speaking to you, all you hear is womp, 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 like Miss Thomas, womp, 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 because you're just like still trying to process, the fact that, wait, did you say breast cancer? Did you say you found cancer on my breast? So having my family there, when I tell you it was everything, it was a blessing. And God did that by design for me.
Wow. I want to say welcome to your big sister, Miss June Bardui, and Sam watching all the way in Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome
Hey,
to the show. My special guest is my baby sister, Mrs. Maynard Thomas. She's talking about cancer by design, and we talked about it a little bit. So Maynard, I'm gonna get a little, I'm your brother, so you know me, I'm weird. So, you have breasts, you found out you have cancer, and I'm touching mine. I just found out on Sunday and on Monday that they say even for women now, if you massage your breasts 2-3 times a day, it helps decrease. Science have said that decrease that. I don't know how that works, but this is what they say. And I know a man. We had an elder in Charlotte when I lived in Charlotte who had breast cancer, but mostly women are the ones that I know who have breast cancer. So check this out. You're. I still look at you as a baby. A young lady. You have children, and you have the tatas. Women. That's their thing. How did it feel, when they told you that, and you may have to lose your breasts and, get it reconstructed? And I know it could be a critical disease, a critical illness, but, if it was me, I would have been bawling. All right. And I know you were strong, but I know there were times you cried. So how did it feel to find out that you were going to, something is wrong with your body inside and your breasts, you may have to lose it? How did that happen, little sis? How did you feel? Talk to us.
Well, I'm weird. I really wasn't thinking about
The breasts.
losing my breasts. I was more thinking about, because you hear breast cancer and you're like, oh my gosh, my kids, am I going to die? Am I going to live? That's what I was thinking about, really. I really wasn't thinking about losing my breasts. And initially, I did mention, or you mentioned, that I actually just had a lumpectomy, because you can go either way. You can have a lumpectomy where they remove the tumor in your breast, or you can have a mastectomy where they actually remove the breast tissues, right? So initially I was like, I'll just have the lumpectomy, I'll remove it. But what happened was, after I had the lumpectomy, the surgeon, the oncoplastic surgeon that I used, he said to me that, they didn't get clear margins, meaning there were still cancer cells in my breast, and that they would have to go back in and just remove, they had just, moved stuff around. They would have to go back in and try to remove some more, tissue and whatever, to remove the cells, that the other cells that they have found.
Uh-huh.
So I was just like, okay, well, where would you go? Like, you just reshaped everything. You don't, like, what's going to happen? That actually fueled my decision into saying, nah, let's just go ahead and remove the breast. Let's just do a mastectomy. And then in talking with my husband, talking with my children, talking to, I had a mentor, I call her a breast mentor. She had gone through it, a woman at my church, and she was, all the things that we were talking about. She had had a mastectomy. And so I decided, yeah, let's just remove it, because I don't want for you to tell me next year that you found more, cancer cells on my breast. And then I thought, let's just remove both, because again, I don't want next year for you to tell me if I remove the tissues in this breast, the left breast and the right breast, next year there are more cancer cells, and then have to go through the whole thing, and going through chemo, and some women have to go through radiation. It's not a nice thing. I mean, you lose your hair, you just, your skin, your nails. It's not a nice experience to go through chemotherapy. And as I mentioned, I was diagnosed, and most African American women are diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. And for that means when you are diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, the go-to drug is chemo, because nothing else works. So it's targeted therapy. So they use chemotherapy to kill the bad cells. But of course, we know what chemo does. It kills bad and good cells. So stuff starts happening when you go through chemotherapy. I mean, I need to send you a picture next time. Like, if you ever have me back on this show next year, put a side by side, Maina Thomas, baldy. Maina Thomas, hair grew back, I mean, I was completely bald. I was like you, actually.
You were like me? You were sexy then. You were sexy.
I was so bald. I had no hair on my head. And, and I can laugh about it now, because, I believe that God has healed me and saved me, for such a time as this, to share with other women. But I was watching a breast cancer awareness panel on Zoom just last week. And, the thing is that you remove these breasts, right? And you're like, okay, good. I'm good. I took these breasts out, so I can't have, it's never going to come back. And, people say never. By the grace of God, I'm just claiming victory and saying that God has healed me, and I'm good. But those cells, they take the tissue, breast tissue, and they remove the breast, but there's a possibility. So I'm just living by faith in God's grace that, I'm good. And I still have to, and that's one thing I want to advise women is, if you have been diagnosed with breast cancer, if you have gone through the treatments, if you are in remission, you do need to continue seeing your oncologist when they tell you to come, whether it's 3 months, every 3 months, every 6 months. I still see my oncologist. I was diagnosed in 2020. I had my surgeries and my chemo in 2021, and I still see my oncologist every 6 months. And sometimes he'll do a televisit. Sometimes, it's in person, but it's very, very important to stay connected with your oncologist.
Okay. I want to say Anne's watching. Anne Wink. You said you can't see the comments and you want to join in the conversation. What I would recommend is, you're probably watching from YouTube. What you could do, you can go to my Facebook page. It's public. Havis Bardoui, HAVIS BARDOUILLE, or my business page, Bardoui, BARDOUILLE, Financial Services, and you can see it there. And I think you might be able to see all the comments, so you can join the conversation. So I want to thank you, Ann Wink, for tuning in. My special guest is Mrs. Maynard Thomas, and she's talking about cancer by design. This is my third time having her on the show, and I'll probably have her every year for as long as the good Lord has me, because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I want to welcome all of you who are watching. And I'm praying to God that you all get your mammograms, get the girls checked, get the tatas checked, do your whatever you got to do to check. I don't know how you all do it. Do what the doctors tell you to do it, because I will tell you something, and we'll come back to Maynard in a second, because critical illness is, we probably all know someone who have a critical illness or something chronic. And as a licensed insurance agent, I talk to people about income protection. So for example, if you have a critical illness and you don't have any living benefits, it could be devastating for some people. The funny thing is this, not funny, hilarious, but funny, peculiar. I'm trying to get one of my business partners on who have a story about someone who got $700,000 while they were alive from their life insurance policy for critical illness. And what you guys have to understand is the purpose I have made on the show is to tell you guys, yes, she has life insurance, but her life insurance did not have living benefits. And I have her on the show to make sure that you all understand the purpose of what I do, and also she can share her journey. So, Mena, so check this out. You had to get your, you're thinking about your breast and your thing and your this and your that. And tell us a little bit more about the stories when you had to go back for your chemos or your different things. I think you had to change the doctor one time because he was insensitive. And what would you tell women who may be going through this or contemplating some of those things? Someone says Esther Duran Kazemi, she's married to a Jean Lapointe as well. She says she hate doing it. I guess the mammograms, I don't know if it hurts. I don't know. I think someone said they smash you. I don't know what they do, but something happens and they don't like it, but it saved your life. So what would you tell people like that? Like Esther says, I don't like doing it, but she does it. How would you encourage all these ladies and women, especially for Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
3 words: get your mammogram, or 4 words: get your mammogram done. It's preventative measures, and also early detection is everything. If you are diagnosed early, there's stages, right, of breast cancer. They'll say stage 0, stage 1, stage 2. They even have 2A, 2B, 3, 4, and we know 4 is, the worst, is terminal. But if you get your mammogram and you're diagnosed early, and you follow, the advice of your oncologist and your breast surgeon and all of your the medical professionals in your circle, you will be able to. Women are diagnosed with breast cancer like every day. But again, early detection is the key. If not just getting early detection, but once you are diagnosed, to follow that thing and the advice and the care. It's not just, oh yeah, I got diagnosed, it's early, it's 2, so I'm not going to do. I know a lot of women are like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything because, chemo doesn't make me feel good, or whatever they tell me to do.
It's uncomfortable, it hurts,
Right. What's the alternative? And I know that mammograms are not comfortable. There are many, many things in life that aren't comfortable, but we do it, right? I can mention some things, but I'm just saying, there are a lot of things in life that we do that are uncomfortable. We do it, Working is not comfortable, but we do it because we got to pay our bills, right?
That's right.
So, but Havis, you mentioned the what did you call the living
benefits?
Living benefits, and you should address that, because even with people who have been diagnosed with whether it's breast cancer or other illnesses, because they're wondering, they're like, well, can I still do this? Is this something that I could still do? Because just because you are cured or you're in remission from cancer, breast cancer, or whatever type of illness, what if something else happens? So you probably need to address the monkey in the room, the elephant in the room, as to, can I still do this? Is it too late for me? Because people are asking, people want to know the answers to these questions.
And that's a good question. We're going to address that next week as well. Because usually when someone is diagnosed with breast cancer, they're uninsurable. But if it's in remission, is after a certain number of years, the insurers and the carriers will consider someone. I know personally of people who've talked about they've had cancer, they use living benefits, and it went to remission, and years later came back again and got living benefits again. So one of the things we will address that later this month. I have some of my colleagues coming on. I have some powerful women from my agency coming on to talk about this. But tonight we want to talk about more on the side of women getting it done. No, man, I'm your big brother, so I can do this. I don't care what people think. I'm going to say it. I'm a big boy. You might slap me because you're my med gel. But you know what? you don't have to tell us, but whatever cup you was, I don't know if it was A, a B, a C, a D, or a triple E. So when they were gonna do it and reconstruct the bread, did you say, man, I want triple D's. I want the big things to make my back hurt. I mean, what did you say? Because whatever cup you was, how did you handle that? On a serious note.
Well, on a serious note, I didn't care about that since breast cancer is the second leading cause of cancer.
Exactly. You're like, bump that.
So I wasn't even thinking about that. I wasn't, and it's funny, I was going through it. I wasn't even thinking about myself. I really was thinking about the fact that death rates, it's 40% higher among Black women. So those are the things that I was thinking about, so I did, and real transparency, right? I had the bilateral mastectomy. I had reconstruction and I had implants. Now I was never, big. So it didn't occur to me, oh, I want to have big tatas. That's not what.
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt you, big sis. I want to say welcome to Mary Benjamin who's watching. I haven't forgot you, Mary. Don't worry. But Mena, but seriously, I'm not interrupting you, but I am. It's my show and I can do it. But check this out. So you didn't want to have bigger tete? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, I know it's critical. You're like, man, you think about your children, your husband, your life. But if it was me, and I mean, you're my sister.
I'll tell you what. Okay, so let me answer that for you. Great. So the short answer is no. I was not thinking about that. Okay. I really wasn't. For me, being a Seventh-day Adventist Christian woman, I was thinking about, like, I don't care. I talk about my God wherever I go, right? And the Holy Spirit and the relationship that I have with God and the Holy Spirit, and I are on a first name basis. Holy Spirit says, Mena, I say, yes. What's up, Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit says, Mena, don't worry about all of that. I just want you to understand that you're good. I'm going to take care of this. I wasn't even concerned or worried, because praying and worrying, those two don't go together. So I chose one. I chose to pray. So no, I was not thinking about. Matter of fact, what normally happens, right, is you go to, before the surgery, your breast surgeon, and I had an oncoplastic surgeon. He was the doctor who did my breast, my surgery and my plastic surgery. He was one and the same. So he's called oncoplastic surgeon. Most women have two. I just found one guy that just did both. And you would, prior to your surgery, they would ask you, what size would you like? A, B, C, D. I didn't even know.
I would be like double D. That's what I would say.
Well, that's because you're a guy,
Exactly.
I wasn't thinking that way. I was on another.
I don't know.
No, I was on another level. So I never answered the question until the day of surgery. Walked into there, empty, just two hands swinging at my side. My husband wasn't with me. Remember, it was COVID. My daughters weren't with me. I walked in there with the Holy Spirit and with my Heavenly Father, walked in, and then Dr. Schwartz, shout out to Dr. Schwartz, he was like, oh, you never really told us what, you have to tell us what size. I was just like, yeah, just make me the exact same size I was before. And he was just like, that's weird. He says, oh, I've never heard that.
Be like, I want triple D's. They were like,
like the same size, please. And I said, just, and then I grabbed his hand. I said, let's pray. He was just like, okay, and did the same thing right before I went into surgery, with all the crew, everybody was there, the anesthesiologist, the nurses. I was just laughing and joking, and they were like, are you always like this? I'm like, yes, let's pray. They were like, oh, okay. So yeah, I didn't care about the size. I wanted and that's why now I'm the same size, and I'm fine with it. I'm just like, God be praised. Thank you for healing and saving me. So yeah. So no, that's the answer to your question.
Okay. We want to say hello to Miss Joan Isles. She's out there in H-Town, Houston. A Dominican's watching. Your sister-in-law, Marcella, in Georgia, right outside of Lawrenceville, Georgia. She's watching tonight. Marcella's watching. And all the others is watching. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest is Mrs. Mena Thomas, a Point Michelle girl, a Jala Point, telling you about her ordeal and her story and her journey with breast cancer, having it breast removed and reconstructed. She's not like her big brother. I would have gotten the triple D's. She got the same size cup that she had. And she's just explaining the importance of getting your mammograms and doing your, as a woman, doing what you need to do. You need to be in the shower. You need to be checking these bad boys. You know, I mean, check it. Let your husband check it for you. Check it yourself. You know, check it. Like it, you know, do it and make sure, because I need you. I need you guys here. And because if you all get breast cancer and die, who's going to watch Tuesdays with Terrence? I'm selfish, right? No, on a serious note, guys, your family needs you. I know your family needs you. We need you. So do it. Prevention is better than cure. And Mena, because she had her stuff done, she had an annual. She was doing it every year. They caught it early. And she's saying, if you're caught early, you know, there's a better chance for you to fully recover or your recovery. You know, if you're in stage 4, sometimes it's kind of too late. I remember I was talking to a lady last year or 2 years ago. I'll never forget. She has breast cancer, survivor. Her daughter died from breast cancer. And then her granddaughter, who's 24, got 3 kids, right? Just had breast cancer and had a breast removed. And we were talking about the 3 kids getting insurance for the 3 kids. She goes, well, I don't know. Man, I got so mad. I told the lady, I said, listen, you got it. Your daughter got it. Your grandkid got it. What makes you think your great-grandkid, they may not, but why take the chance? And it broke my mind. I told the lady, I said, I'll be honest. I said to her, ma'am, when you really need to talk to me, call me back, because my sister went through this, you know, and, you know, I just don't want to see that. You got 3 generations of this in your family. So let's get it done. So Mena, check this out. So, you know, you did all this. You had to go to chemotherapy and all that stuff, you know, and it's not a good thing, because there's some people who's watching, you know, Anna Wink is saying cancer is a terror. I lost my parents, uncles, and aunts. It's a given that I have it now, you know, and it's a given that I have it now. I'm just saying it's crazy. And folks, I'm telling you all, you know what? I'm not a doctor. I've never had it, you know, but my sister has. She's had it. And, you know, and she's telling you it's really important. So, Mena, when you were going through chemo, how was that for you? How did you feel? How did you eat? I mean, what was going on for you? Tell us.
Well, yeah. So nutrition is really important. And I just want to address something that you just said about somebody on the chat that said that they, you know, their family has a history of breast cancer. That's why you should talk to your doctor about performing a genetic test for an inherited BRCA gene. You know, they can test you to see if the breast cancer, if, you know, it's hereditary. It's I had that test done because, you know, our sister, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, I think 11 years earlier. So it's very important, and it can test you. So, because people will say, you know, where did it come from? We don't know where breast cancer comes from sometimes. You know, it's just these cells just, you know, in your DNA. But that BRCA test is very important. I think Angelina Jolie, she had done the BRCA test, and she found out that it was hereditary, and that she may possibly develop breast cancer. So that's why she had her bilateral mastectomy. She had her breasts removed, so that, you know, to hopefully in hopes of preventing breast cancer. So, you know, there are things that we can do to try to get ahead of it, you know, if we know that it runs in our family. But funnily enough, I had the BRCA test done, and it's not hereditary. The breast cancer that I developed, it was not hereditary, because I wanted to know, because I have, you know, my husband and I, we have 3 daughters, to see if they needed to be tested as well, which they don't need to be tested. They just need, when it's time for them to have their mammograms at, you know, age 40, I still believe it's age 40, that they can start doing that as well. So the testing is important to see if you have that gene, that BRCA gene. But you asked me about chemotherapy and
Yeah.
nutrition, I believe, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I did.
So, okay. So, chemotherapy for me, and it's chemotherapy for everybody is different. So I went through chemo from January through March of 2021. And at the end of that, that's when I had my bilateral mastectomy. But for me, chemo was not, it was not awful for me. I must say, I do. That's why when you ask me how am I doing, I say blessed and highly favored of God, because I went through chemo. And, as you know, I talked with you guys every Friday, every week we talked as a family, and I was fine. I think I got very tired of consoling other people about my illness, because people just kept crying and, just bringing all the negativity. And, but for me, chemotherapy was fine. I didn't get sick. I didn't throw up. It was okay. I just went through chemotherapy, and when it was over, it was over. The major thing that happened to me, I mentioned, was that I did lose all my hair. I was bald at one point, but it's just hair, and it grew back. Hair grows back, you know. And I remember the first time I went through chemotherapy, because I did not follow the directions of my oncologist. I was in a lot of pain where my fingernails were hurting, the hair follicles on my head was hurting. I couldn't stand up, I couldn't sit down, I couldn't lie down. And it was funny because I remembered at the end when I called them, they were like, if that happens, take a Tylenol. The Tylenol only hit my tongue and I was fine. I was like, oh, wow, suffered all night for nothing. But after that, I went through chemotherapy and, never had any adverse reactions other than the falling out of my hair. But chemo was fine. Nutrition was very important. I had a nutritionist. I met with my nutritionist often. That I was on a special diet. I became completely plant-based as soon as I was diagnosed. It was like, I promise you, it was diagnosed on like October 14th. On the 15th, I was like, boom, I'm a vegan. I'm plant-based.
On my birthday.
Right. So I was like, I became, plant-based, and I just started making everything myself, and, beet juice, and, doing my research, and, reading. I know my oncologist was like, stay off the internet. It's evil. But we're human. We're not going to stay off the internet. We're not going to believe everything that we read on the internet, because you can get bombarded. People will tell you you're diagnosed, you're dying. That's it. But there's lots of good information on there. There's a lot of websites that are viable websites that you can go on and learn about breast cancer if you are diagnosed, or if you want to know for a loved one or for yourself. But eating well, I think helped me a lot. Changing my diet, getting rid. I wasn't really a red meat eater, but I'm West Indian, so I love oxtail. I loved oxtail.
Yalla point.
Woo. So, but I gave that up in a heartbeat. It was not a big deal for me. I was like, oh, my health, I need to change everything. So I gave up red meat. I gave up chicken. I gave up fish, everything. And, but you have to make sure that you're supplementing, and you're not just saying, oh, I'm a vegan or I'm plant-based, and you don't know what you're doing. Do your research. Learn what you need to eat. You need your supplements, and you need your proteins, and to get everything, your fibers, everything into your diet so you can be healthy. Chemotherapy is not the same for everybody. Some people go through radiation, and it's not a good experience. But I can only speak for myself and what I went through and what I experienced. Chemotherapy, if you didn't tell me, if the doctors had not told me that I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then if I hadn't looked in the mirror and I was just like, there was nothing on my head, there was no hair, I wouldn't have known that I was going through chemotherapy. So yeah, that was the experience for me. But awareness, we have to stress awareness. Like you said, get your mammograms, a self-check, talk to your family members. We don't talk to our family members. You need to know your family history. Is there a history of breast cancer in your family? And then if there is, get that BRCA gene testing done so you can see if you're prone to breast cancer. And then you have to make some decisions with by yourself or with your spouse or your family members.
This is what I'm going to do at this moment. I want to welcome everyone who's watching Tuesdays with Terrence tonight. My special guest is my baby sister, Miss Maynard Thomas. And Wink has talked about how her family cancer has deteriorated lots of members of her family and her as well. She's thinking she basically says never knew that it depends. The point is simply this: I want you to be encouraged. And Mena sings. You guys heard her at the end of the show. I'll play the theme song that she sings it again. But I'll play another song she sang for me one time. And just to encourage you guys, usually I play secular music and I'm dancing, making a fool, and having a good time. But tonight, I want you guys to think about this. You know what? Even if you're going through this or you're a survivor, God knows, God sees, and He understands. Now, I can't give you the answers because I'm not God. But what I do know is that, we're here for each other. Wearing pink, I'm wearing pink tonight. Someone says, oh, wow, you're wearing pink tonight. Yeah, because I want to bring out the awareness. Pink does not cure cancer. But what it does is, it brings out the awareness. So this is just Mena singing a gospel song to encourage some of you guys. Just listen for a moment. Let me play it. And after that, I'll play one more before the show is out and we'll end it. And we might go a few minutes over tonight because this is a very important subject. So Mena, I'm going to mute you for a minute, but this is Mena singing here. And it goes a little something like this.
Beautiful heaven must be.
How beautiful heaven must be.
Sweet home of the happy and free, fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be.
Think about your loved ones, folks. Think about your loved ones.
How beautiful heaven must be. Sweet home of the happy and free, fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be.
And I play that just to encourage you guys, to let you know what, you may have lost some loved ones to this dreaded disease. And, I all I can tell you is, if they die in the Lord, make sure you make your calling and election sure, and you'll see them again one day, when that great getting up morning when we all get up there, right? We're going to be doing the moonwalk because we're happy we got there. So, I played that song just to tell you guys that, because to encourage you. And I'll play another one before we end and we'll play our theme song. So, Mena, so people, and for those of you who don't know, yeah, I'm a Christian. For you Dominicans, most of you are so Brooks. Yes, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. And we're not ashamed to talk about God and play that kind of music here. I mean, yeah, I play secular music as well, but we're not scared to do that. It's a family show. It's a financial show. But tonight, it's October. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're losing too many people who, some people says, well, someone came in my thing one time and said, oh, well, I'm not doing that. You know what? That's on you. I'm not going to go there. All I can tell you guys is you gotta, the awareness, do your checks, do what you have to do to make sure that you're fine, So, Mena, so now, it's 3 years later this month, you look beautiful. You got more hair than me now, and you got the same cup. I'm doing that just to tease Marcella, who told me I'm a guy. That's why I probably wanted big ones. I want the biggest one. But check this out, though, on a serious note, we're trying to make it entertaining for everyone. On a serious note, now, what's your mission? What drives you to encourage people, young ladies, older people, older ladies, men, women, but mostly ladies, you do. What's your mission now so that people can feel comfortable getting their mammograms and their regular health checks? What's your mission for the people out here?
Well, early detection is what I stress the most. You know, the early detection of breast cancer through your annual mammograms and other breast exams. It's the best defense against receiving a late stage breast cancer diagnosis. So early detection is what I stress. I speak a lot, you know, about breast cancer. I do it in October. I do it, you know, throughout the year. And that's what I stress is the early detection of breast cancer through annual mammographies and other breast exams, because there's a difference between being diagnosed with breast cancer and the doctor tells you it's stage 1, 2, or, you know, there's stage 4. And the oncologist tells you, or the oncologist or the breast surgeon, but I think it's the oncologist tells you that, you know, it has metastasized. You don't want to hear that. So just early detection, mammograms, self breast checks, you know, we all can do that. But we know, because I know that there are a lot of, we talked about early in the beginning, just briefly about the disparities that exist among African American women, you know, not having health insurance. And so they don't go to the doctors. But there are lots of free health clinics in various states. I know in Georgia they have it, I believe. Massachusetts, because my sister June always tells me about the people that are helped in with the free, I think, health clinics. Or was that? Yeah, in
Sorry about
Massachusetts.
that. I cut you off. Sorry about that. Go ahead. You were
No,
saying Massachusetts. I know
okay.
that in Virginia as well, but go ahead. You were saying.
Yeah, in Massachusetts, I was saying in Massachusetts, they have the free health clinics. So I think that, you know, because some women are, you know, living in marginalized communities, they feel that they cannot help, or health insurance is healthcare is beyond them. It's not. You know, there are lots of places that they can go, and early detection is key. Like I said, 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed. Almost 300,000 women were diagnosed in 2023. So, you know, again and again, it's not a death sentence. I'm not saying that people do not die from breast cancer. Of course they do. This is, we live
Mhm.
in this world, right?
Right.
But early detection is key. If you think it's hereditary, you know, get the gene test, get it done. Talk to your primary care, talk to your GYN, talk to any healthcare professional, but just get it done, get tested. And your mammograms, so what if it hurts? Like I said earlier, it's okay. It's only for a minute. Get it done, because if it is detected, if your breast cancer, if you get a diagnosis and it's early stages, you know, then the possibility and the probability is that it is, you know, curable. You can work through it. You can go chemo, or like my sister Ernestine, who was diagnosed, she didn't even have to do chemo like I did, because she was diagnosed with a completely different breast cancer than I was. I was triple negative. I believe she was HER2. I don't even remember what she was, but there are a lot. There are several. There's so many. There's a plethora of breast cancer diagnoses, right?
Wow.
So just get tested, testing. And I'm big on awareness. So my mission is awareness, to inform women of all color, but my Black and brown women, you know, my young girls, because, you know, I mentor young girls. So that's my mission, to bring awareness amongst Black and brown girls and women about breast cancer.
You know, it's so funny you said that. My former colleague and friend, Miss Lisa Griffith Harris, is watching. She said, "Good information. My sister had breast cancer. I'm going to call her after this." And the funny thing about it is, guys, you know, again, you keep hearing, if it's in your family, you know, go ahead and you know, talk about it. I want to say good night to Miss Connie Roberts and all the others who are tuning in. You know, it's one of those things where you have to get it done. Like pretending like it doesn't, you know, it doesn't run in your family and family. Certain things, it's like certain things are hereditary, you know, like, you know, they say like high blood pressure and diabetes. Like those things are reversible. You can't reverse cancer. My point is this: make sure, as she tells you tonight, that for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you're gonna be more aware, and you're gonna go to the proper procedures in place to do what it is that you need to do. You don't want to go by yourself, go with a girlfriend. You still have your mom, go with your mom. You got your sister, go with your. If you all live in the same town or the same city, go together. I mean, you may have different doctors, but just go before for mental support. I remember during COVID, one of my friends asked me to go with them when they were going to take the shot, and I went with them. Because we all in this, we are family. I want to play this song that Mina sang to give some of you guys hope, and to give some of you guys encouragement. Sometimes there's a war raging inside you, right? But Lord, do you hunger for holiness and righteousness? Do you? So listen, just before we come back and do our closing, and Mena give you a closing charge, we're going to play this song. I'm going to mute Mena for a moment, and we're going to play this song that Mena's singing here. She sent to me last year. Hold on.
There's a silent war that's raging deep within me. My lower nature fights to dominate. My spirit man is poised and locked in battle. With the carnal side of me, I've grown to hate. The trumpet of my prayers play towards heaven. A voice of desperation in my cry. Lord, strengthen me that I might not yield myself to sin, but keep your righteous banner lifted high. Lord, I hunger for holiness, and I thirst for the righteousness that's yours. That my mind would be cleansed and my spirit renewed, and this temple that you dwell in would be pure. The trumpet of my prayers play towards heaven. A voice of desperation in my cry. Lord, strengthen me that I might not yield myself to sin, but keep your righteous banner lifted high. Lord, I hunger for holiness, and I thirst for the righteousness that's yours. That my mind would be cleansed and my spirit renewed, and this temple that you dwell in, and this temple that you dwell in
Amen. Basically, she sang that song, talking about the temple that you dwell in. This is where in your heart, we're talking about God. We're not preaching tonight, but I just want to make it clear, folks. We want to make it very, very clear that you do understand that God knows, God sees. And that temple, we have to take care of our bodies, that temple. And someone said to send that song to them in WhatsApp. I will. If anybody else who are my friends on WhatsApp who want those songs that Mena sang, I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. But I just want to make it very clear. I want to thank you so much, Mena, for coming on tonight. It's a little after 9. People stayed on the line. And your story is powerful. And, if people want to get in touch with you, there's some people who might have cancer, they want to talk to you. I want you to put your email. You do it very slowly and they can take it down. Somebody put it in the chat for me when she says it. You're going to say it very slowly, Mena. But I just want you to tell the people that even if you had cancer by design, they need to think about the temple and who dwells in there and who's aware. So what's the charge would you give to I would say my people, but my followers and the people who came tonight to listen to you about breast cancer and October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And then I will give my little spiel about living benefits right after that. So go ahead, Mena. You have 3 to 5 minutes to make your closing remarks.
Charge. Well, I said awareness, right? The thing is that, I love people. And I love working with, I told you I mentor young girls. We need to all stand together in unity, in spreading awareness, offering support, and advocating for early detection and research. Breast cancer, that's like, I never really knew a lot about breast cancer until I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So breast cancer, it may be a formidable opponent, but our collective strength together with love and determination, we can overcome it, So we have to be, let's be warriors, breast cancer warriors of hope, champions of courage, and advocates of change in this battle against breast cancer. That is my charge. I think I didn't know you were going to ask me, so I kind of did that on the fly. But if I had to write something down, I think that's what it would be. That's my charge, the awareness piece. And thank you for having me on here tonight.
Well, Mena, there's some people, someone says, first time watching your show, so very, very deep and understanding. We'll tune in every Tuesday. Oh, I love that. Someone says, send it to me. Yes, that song, they're crying from that song that you sang. And that's really her singing. Mena, my baby sister, can sing. Name the singer. The singer is Mena Thomas. That's who's singing it. My sister. You're watching her live. But that second song was by Gloria Helen Baylor, and the first song was done by the Gators. But that's Mena singing. That's my sister singing. Literally her. And those of you who at the end of the show, I'm going to play my theme song again. That's her singing it. All right. I changed the words from me and Sandy changed the words from Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. And we just changed the words to fit. You don't have to have a million to be on my show. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. And that's really her singing. So Mena, people may want to email you. They may want you to come and talk at their church, at their school. They may want to fly you to Dominica or St. Martin to come to their church, Hawaii. How would they email you and get in touch with you? Do it slowly. Go ahead.
So my email is CET as in Thomas. So CET Vision, VISION. So CET Vision Inc., INC, CET Vision Inc. at gmail.com. That's Set Vision Inc. at gmail.com. CET Vision Inc. at gmail.com.
You see, folks, Mana's not on social media. She's not on Instagram. She's not on TikTok. She's not on Facebook. Her kids are, her husband, but she's not on that. So she just told you how to get it. You don't know how to get it? Go back and watch the show, and she'll tell you again. Amanda, you said a website as well for You Mentor Kids. What was it again?
Oh, yes. I told you that I have a mentoring group that I do here in the United States, and I also do it via Zoom internationally. I have 2 places where I'm working with young girls ages 10 to 18 in Trinidad and Tobago and also Honduras. And I do have a website. It's called girlsmatterinternational.com. That's girlsmatterinternational.com. And, I can be reached that way, there as well. Just check it out. It's really great. If you have a young girl, in your life that needs mentoring and counseling, hit me up.
And Lisa, thank you, Lisa. Lisa, my buddy, Lisa Griffin Harris, she put the email address in the chat, so you can go back and get it. You guys can get it. And you know what? Reach out to Maina. Your church is having something. You guys want, reach out, talk to her, see if she can come and do something virtually for your churches. Whether you're in the continental United States, around the world, reach out to her. You're scared to talk to her, reach out to me. I'm a manager. I'm the one who I'm terrible. Yeah. Plus, I owe her money because I made a lot of money from what she's been singing for me. I haven't given her a dime, But she's my baby sister, and she's getting
no dime needed.
I don't have to feed her, but
labor of love.
She's my med gel. She's my med gel. I want to thank you, Maina, so much for coming on tonight. I want to thank you so much. What I'm going to do tonight, Katie may have watched. So tonight, I'm going to end the show. I'm going to end it with, I'm going to stay on the line after we finish playing that song. I'm going to play the one that you and your daughter, Caitlin, sung together. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. This show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. If you're from Dominica, you will call me Mr. Badwill. And if you're from La Pointe, Point Michelle, you'll call me Luca Boy. You might call her Point Michelle girl, but you'll call me Little Boy or Luca Boy. We're from the Commonwealth of Dominica. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. Dominica is whitey kubuli, tall is her body, and it made me, and it made Maina. And now she's based in the ATL, and I'm in the DMV, I'm in South Carolina. And what I want to tell you guys in a very special way, I want to thank each and every one of you. Tonight, if you notice, I didn't talk about living benefits that much. And I'm not going to do it. You know why? Because I want you guys to like and share this. Because some of you don't want to like and share my stuff because they think I'm soliciting. But tonight, it's about awareness. Every woman needs to hear this. Some of you have seen this before. We try to put a little spin on it. But like and share it. It's not about getting life insurance with living benefits that you don't have to die to use. I will save that for next week. Venus, next week you're on. Make sure you know that. Venus, the ABR queen. We're going to talk about and get into why you need all these living benefits and all these accelerated benefit riders. We're going to talk about why you need it. Maina asked the question tonight. She said, she made a statement. You need to tell these people they need to have this stuff just in case, to have an emergency pool of money. So as we close and we play our theme song, Maina, stay on the line. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. This is Maina Thomas and her daughter Caitlin singing. God bless you. Like and share. Good night. I love you all.
Good night.
Good night, Maina. Bye-bye. We love you. Stay on the line.
Family, come as you are, with just your heart, and I love you. Are you rejected?
one tonight.
Now I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be a rich family to be on my show. You don't have to have a million friends to be on my show.
I want to thank you so much, Mena, and I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight. We had a big audience. Folks, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I kicked it off with Mrs. Mena Thomas, who's a breast cancer survivor. She had triple negative breast cancer. She had both breasts removed and reconstructed and all that stuff. She didn't get a triple D like I would have gotten. She got the same cup that she was. But I want to make sure that you guys share this live. And if you don't want to share the live, share it to someone's inbox so they can take a look at it. And, they can, lift the awareness up, man, because this is a deadly disease. I thank God 2 of my sisters, are here with us. It didn't get them, but I know a lot of people. I lost a sister-in-law who had it, and she's no longer with us. So God bless you. Have a good night. I thank you so much for your help and your support. Hasta la vista, babies. We went 20 minutes over tonight. God bless you. And I want to say welcome and thank you to everybody who tuned in. Some of you, I saw you. I saw your names. Some of you, I couldn't see your names, so I couldn't give you a shout out. So all of you who are on the show tonight, everybody, and those of you who want the songs, hit me up in my DM in either WhatsApp, and I can WhatsApp it to you so you can listen to it, when you need encouragement. It's not just for cancer. It could be for anything. When you think about your loved ones, listen to those songs sung by Mrs. Mena Thomas. Good night. Hasta la vista, baby. I love you. Mwah. I'm going to drink some water and mind my business. Hasta la vista.